welcome to the Horror Herald. It's been a while.
It's been a while.
Been a big ass while, like a long time, like a couple of weeks, three to 4 weeks or something like that.
Yeah, about 3 weeks.
At least 3 weeks.
At least a month.
I mean, there's been a lot of stuff putting this off, and we didn't mean it. It's not intentional. I'll tell you a little bit what's happened. Basically, we were gonna do another podcast, and I had COVID for like a week, so we had to like put that off, and then there was like I had university stuff, and there's lots of stuff that we were doing that we couldn't do it like the next week, and then when we did eventually do it, when we did eventually get to watch the movie, when we actually watched the movie X, which is the one that we're going to be doing this podcast. We came back and we were going to do it, and then there were technical issues while doing the podcast, so we have to like postpone it to whenever we could do it again, which is now. So if you've been waiting for an episode, sorry for the big ass wait. And
but at least this ass is in the movie, because this movie is all about ass.
Yeah, ass. It's a porno. No, it's not a porno. But we'll talk about the movie soon. But before we start with the movie X, we're gonna do a little bit, of course, of the news of last week or the weeks before, because it's pretty late. This news, because we're doing the news segment now. The news that I prepared, this is news that is going to be old news if you're a horror fan. Ages ago. This says 2nd of April. I started writing this, so that was like a week ago. But then even that news that I correlated was from like a week prior. So yeah, it's a bit old, but I'm going to say it anyway. So basically the first up, and this isn't any major, actually this is major. Basically, Scream 6 has a release date, and it is for March 31st, 2023. So at about less than a year's away, we're going to be getting Scream 6, 5. Those of the legacy class that has been confirmed to be coming back on is Courtney Cox. So she has said that she signed on. It still hasn't been confirmed whether Sidney Prescott, Neve Campbell is coming on. I'm pretty sure she would be. I mean, if Courtney Cox is... You got to bring in Sydney.
Yeah, and of course you're going to have,
spoilers for Scream 5. Dewey is gone, which is sad. Oh, it's going to be weird to have a movie without him, isn't it?
I'm not going to watch it.
Oh, you're not going to watch it?
I'm going to boycott it.
No, I mean, it's sad, but that's how it is. Anyway, so that's that. Scream 6 is coming out in March 2023, 31st of March. Can't wait to see it. It's going to be awesome. And hopefully Kirby's in that one. All right. Next up on the news agenda is that the new installment, the 5th installment of the Evil Dead franchise, Evil Dead Rise, has earned an R rating as expected.
Should.
And it's coming to HBO Max. The franchise icon, Bruce Campbell, sadly won't reprise as well as Ash Williams, but he knows about the script, and apparently it's going to be interesting. It's going to be good. And I think it's filming in New Zealand, if I'm not mistaken. So that's close to us, close to Australia, but that's cool. And I think they're getting ready to shoot it.
I feel like it might be like really mountainous. Like they might change up the scenery. It might be like...
It'll be in the Shire.
In the Shire. Yeah, they're
Evil
Dead, in the Shire. Evil Dead, Lord of the Rings.
Poor New Zealand. Okay.
Poor New Zealand, they can't get out of it.
Keep on mentioning the Shire, but no. I mean, there'll be cool landscapes, and it'll be interesting. I wonder if it's like they're not gonna make it like New Zealand people doing it. It'd be funny if they did like a New Zealand like Evil Dead.
Let's do Taika Waititi, Jermaine.
Because I know there's some Australian actors who are gonna be in it. So I'm like, what if they did like a comedic New Zealand hot comedy? Evil Dead.
I'm wondering what kind of thing they're going for. They're going to do for like remake type, or they're going to go for the original?
I thought it was like a sequel to the remake.
I think there was going to be a sequel to the remake, but they didn't
do that. Anyway, that is kind of old news, but yeah, there you go. There's that. And the final thing on the agenda, now I haven't seen this film, nor has Louis.
Which one?
But Bill Skarsgård, the actor of Pennywise, is up to play the titular The Crow character in the new reboot. And it's going to be interesting. There is kind of like a controversy, around it, because The Crow is synonymous with the death of the main actor.
Yeah. But the thing is, The Crow is a character that expands more than that actor. I know it's a horrible tragedy, but I don't feel like it should stop any adaptation of the medium, because it feels like Like, if the stories are good enough to be told, then they should be told.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah,
But I understand.
yeah. But will I see it? Not super sure.
They
I
see the
mean, if it's
original.
on the streaming, I
Is it a
might
horror
check it
movie?
out. I think it's like a semi kind of horror comic book movie. I don't know much about it, to be completely honest. I
Yeah.
probably should have done more research.
Yeah.
But
I don't know.
there is a blurb here. Do you want me to read it?
Yeah, sure.
Sure. So the blurb goes, let me find it. So the night before his wedding, musician Eric Davin and his fiancée are brutally murdered by members of a violent inner city gang. On the anniversary of their death, Eric rises from the grave and assumes the gothic mantle of the Crow, a supernatural avenger, tracking down the thugs responsible for the crimes and mercilessly murdering them. Eric eventually confronts the head gangster Top Dollar to complete his macabre mission. So that's interesting.
Damn.
That's cool. I wonder if that's the plot, for the original film, but I'm not completely sure. But yeah, so it's kind of like a vengeful kind of movie. But yeah, that's cool. But now we get to the bit where we talk about X, the new A24 film. Yeah, X marks the spot. X
a porn parody.
No,
literally.
No, but yeah, it's X. It's the new A24 movie. It's starring Jenna Ortega, Maya Goth, Brittany Snow, Kid Cudi, Stephen Uri, Martin Henderson, and Owen Campbell in the roles. It is confirmed. I did do my research. Mia Goth does play both the old lady and
okay,
Maxine.
that makes sense.
So yeah,
That's what I was thinking as well.
that's cool because I was like I looked up at the cast list and I couldn't see who played the old lady, and yeah, it's true. Mia Goth plays both characters.
Mia Goth is the main one, right?
So yeah, well done to the
makeup team.
Yeah, the main girl.
Yeah.
Who wants to be famous and.
Okay, so that is I was thinking that in the theater. I was like, they look so similar.
Yeah. I mean, they obviously don't look the same, but like they have the same kind of energy.
Yeah.
But anyway, like big props, I guess, to the the
actor,
filmmakers to make,
they
because
pulled that off.
I felt like those are two characters in the same room and stuff like that.
That's really good.
So big props to them. But anyway, X, it's an A24 horror movie, and the plot synopsis goes as thus. A group of actors sets out to make an adult film in rural Texas under the noses of their reclusive hosts. But when the elderly couple catches their young guests in the act, the cast finds themselves in a desperate fight for their lives. And that's the movie. It's directed by Ty West. And yeah, he's done some other kind of horror stuff.
Yeah, I don't really know this guy.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know him doing any major horror films that I know, but I know he's definitely done something on VHS.
Sure.
Not the movie VHS, which is an anthology film, and I know he's done probably other kind of horror movies. But yeah, I mean, this is my first kind of like proper Ty West horror movie experience. Before we get into the in-depth review, we should just quickly say our overall thoughts before we get into spoilers.
Yeah.
Just in case you want to click off now. But Louis, what did you think of it?
Yeah, it was good. It was an appreciation of 70s horror. I could definitely tell. I could get references to other 70s horror movies.
Yeah.
I understand there was really good aesthetics of the movie. I feel like the zeitgeist of this movie was a bit overhyped about like.
Sure.
Not about the movie, but about how groundbreaking it was. Cause like not that it was. I heard it was groundbreaking, but I read some stuff where it was like it was a complete twist on the genre, which I don't agree with. But it was still good.
Yeah,
I enjoyed it, but it was what it was. Like it didn't feel like
it was kind of a
anything
twist
more.
on the genre in a way.
Sure, but I feel like it was what it was, and it was really good as that.
No, yeah, it
wasn't anything more or anything less.
Yeah, it was
good.
just for me, I think it was just a very fun slasher movie.
Yeah.
I went in for some reason thinking it was like a monster movie. I don't know why, but no.
Yeah, I knew nothing about this.
But I went in and I was like, yeah, this was good. I enjoyed this. I had a lot of fun. I had not really any super major complaints. For what it is, it's done it well.
Yeah.
There are some stuff that we'll get into.
Some
but
stuff.
yeah, I think it's a good movie and it's worth your time if you want to see it. Anyway, we're going to get into the spoiler review right now, so if you haven't seen it, I advise you to not
Go
listen.
watch it. It's a not independent, but it's
A24
low-budget horror movie.
Low budget, A24.
Go watch it.
They're like the big studio doing more experimental things at the moment, so that's, go and see
the
it.
Dream Horror Studio.
Anyway, so, yeah, let's get to it. So basically, do we want to start with the positives or negatives first? I think positives.
I don't think I categorized them. I think I just wrote them down because I wrote them down on the bus.
Sure.
So I didn't have time to categorize them. So you go first, and I'll just relate to it.
Sure. So my first major positive, sorry for that, is great performances across the board. So I think great acting from
Everyone was great.
everyone. Even minor characters like the director, I really felt for him. So, the guy who was like filming it, and you know, when Jenna Ortega's character,
His
says wants
girlfriend
to be in the movie.
film.
Yeah, wants to be in the film, and he goes through this like depression
He was
you see
like
in the
being
shower.
hypocritical, but it was still sad.
Yeah, I guess. But I felt bad for him.
Yeah.
So I think everybody had great characters. Jenna Ortega, she's awesome.
Leah's obsessed with Jenna Ortega.
No, not obsessed, but I've seen a lot of her films, and she's great. But she was awesome. I thought she was great. And a lot of I think also connecting to that, and I think this is another point that you might want to, you probably are going to bring up, is that I think all the characters had just great chemistry and great dialogue together. So, I really felt like they were definitely a group of people who've been working together probably for a while.
Yeah, I really felt that the main actors in the movie, not the movie, but in the movie that they were making, felt like they'd known each other for a long time.
Yeah.
And I felt like they all had a connection. I felt the motivations of each character. They were all fun, good chemistry. And if this wasn't a horror movie, I'd just be watching it to just watch these characters make this film. I was interested in like the journey. I was kind of like, I didn't want it to turn to a horror movie. I was like, I kind of just want to watch these guys.
When they started being killed off, I was like, oh, I missed them.
Yeah, I was like, no.
I missed them like talking.
Yeah, I was like, damn.
I was like, oh, yeah, I don't like that. Like,
like as soon as the third act hit, I was like, oh, come on.
Yeah. I don't know why, because maybe that's like a negative as well. Is they made such great characters that when they started dying, I was like, oh, I don't care.
Yeah, I missed.
But great characters. Really funny dialogue. There was one line that I think me and Louis found super funny. Was that when the kind of porn star guy, Kid Cudi, sits up from his bed and he's like, "Oh, I thought I heard something, but I didn't. Go back to sleep."
I didn't hear something.
But great chemistry.
So good.
Everyone's just really fun together, and I really enjoyed that. What's the positive that you have, Louis?
Yeah, I feel like I just like wasn't a completely original plot, but it was a twist on a plot, which is where the twist on the genre comes in, where it was like, it could have followed so many avenues, which is also a negative because it takes a while to get to those. But like, there were so many ways this movie could have gone. It could have been a supernatural thriller. It could have been about Christianity. It could have been all about these things. And it was just like, when watching the movie, I had no idea what the movie was going to be about. So I was always on edge. I was waiting for the thing to happen. I was like, when's the thing going to happen? So I was really invested in the movie, and that was really good for the plot. And I really liked the plot of the movie, the driving forces of the movie. Yeah. And I was really interested in the old people. And I was like, what are they going to do? What is happening with this? So I really was invested in it. So that really goes well with the characters. And the plot.
I would agree with you. I felt like there was a lot of tension throughout the film that was building up pretty well. Like, there wasn't any, like, I didn't feel like a lot of the tension was fake. I didn't feel like a lot of the tension was like inauthentic, and it just felt kind of like pushed in there just to have it there. Like, it felt like the entire film, because a huge chunk of it, like, nothing horrible happens. Yeah. So like for like a full on like hour, there's this like tension building and building and building, and that kind of creepiness kind of was cool. It wasn't just a standard like, oh, we need to have a kill right here in the 20-minute mark just to keep people interested, or we need to have a kill here or here. The tension was rising throughout, and it felt like it took its time with ends, and part of me think that's all right. Part of me, I'll talk about in the negatives. But I think it's I think it's good.
The plot didn't land on anything to keep you guessing on what was going to happen, because like there was this theme of like this pastor. It's a very American thing. Pastor. Like on the TV, who ended up being the father of the main person, which was a twist. So like he kept showing up, and I was like, oh, is this going to be like a cult of like Christians going to kill these people?
I was thinking that as well.
I was because it felt like the beginning of this movie felt like kind of Texas Chainsaw Massacre. You know, they go on a road trip, they stop at a petrol station to get petrol. You know, they meet like this person who was a bit like weird and strange, and it feels like, oh, this kind of like feels like a 70s Texas Chainsaw reference. And I was like, oh, is this going to be like a cult of like the whole town is in on it kind of thing? But then I just kept guessing, like, oh, wait, it's not that. Oh, is it going to be a bit about Christians? Oh, this wasn't that. I was waiting. Is it going to be like a creature flick? Is it going to be like, oh, these old people were actually freaking crocodiles or alligators? Yeah. And because they almost get killed by an alligator at the beginning. So I was really invested in the plot. But then there was some negatives that came from that. But if we want to continue on positives, we'll go.
Yeah. Some other basic kind of positives is had great gore and really good sufficient kills that, they did its job and it was awesome. I gotta say, I like the great direction.
Yeah.
Some really beautiful shots and
Yeah.
set pieces.
Some good crash zooms, which I enjoy sparingly.
Yeah. There's some great set pieces. I thought the direction, for example, that that scene where the old lady is like killing that guy with the car.
Yeah.
And how it turned all red and with the blood.
I would say
I thought that was cool.
when I accept this movie as kind of like a black comedy, I started really enjoying it.
Yeah.
Because I was kind of like, am I meant to take this seriously? Is this meant to be a comedy?
Yeah.
I
the
wasn't
movie's
really
very
sure.
strange.
It was very strange. At the beginning, felt really serious.
Yeah.
And I felt like, oh, is this going to be about like young people in the porn industry? And like, oh, we're meant to feel bad for these people? I was like so confused, and I was like, oh. Then when I accepted it as like, this is a black comedy, I'm not meant to take this seriously, I had so much more fun with the movie.
Yeah.
And I wasn't expecting to like it as much as I did.
Yeah, it was very weird, and they I think some of the comedy worked well. Like there's moments where you're like, oh, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like that, of course you're gonna feel a bit like disturbed with like an old lady having sex, but like there's some comedy that like works and is a bit weird and is kind of funny.
There was some stuff that went like tried a bit too much to be like kind of like weird, and then I was just like, I'm not vibing with this, but the rest of the film was good.
Yeah, I mean,
like the old lady trying to get frisky with the husband like 5 times, and I was like, okay, we can.
But I mean, I
was like, stop. This is weird. Like,
it's uncomfortable, but I guess that's kind of the plot of the.
I know, but like just the dialogue they were using, how she was like kind of slow dancing. Like I liked it, but they did that scene like 2 times, and I was just like, okay, we got it the first time.
Sure. Okay. Yeah. But yeah, I would say that Ty West really does succeed in kind of creeping you out.
And in the 70s aesthetics, it felt like a 70s movie.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, some really cool
even tricks
shots
at the beginning with the frame. Like the frame looks like
it's
in like 9:3:39, whatever, 4:9. I don't know. It was like the sides are cropped, and it felt like
basically at the
lighthouse.
start when there's like 2 buildings, and it like in between that building, like you're inside like a building.
Yeah.
Like you're inside, I think, was it the barn?
Yeah.
And the doorway frames make it look like it's been shot.
Yeah, it's been cropped.
Like it's been cropped. Like the shot is like
on
a certain ratio, but then it's revealed when like I think it's panning forward that that's just the barn doors that made it look like that ratio. But that looks really cool. Like the directing, definitely there was thought put into it. I think some of the shots in the porn movie when they're filming the porn movie looks really cool. I would say not a very effective porn movie because they're not really filming the sex. They're kind of filming the faces.
I don't feel like I felt
not
like
that I was trying to look
movie,
for like, hey, show me the sex, but no.
Yeah, but I was just like, I agree with you. I was like, are they?
Is this a porn movie? Or is this just a really nice kind of like artsy film? But but yeah, it was cool, and a lot of the directing was just really well done.
I enjoyed mostly the meta humor which I caught. This movie was like kind of like Psycho.
Sure.
Like it references Psycho, like meta humor with the call of Psycho being a MacGuffin. Was like, the beginning is like different, so the shock of the second half of the movie is like a bit more shocking to the audience. And I felt like this movie did it as well. Like this movie started off as like normal, and you're thinking it's gonna go one direction, then suddenly boom, it goes a different direction. And I felt like this movie did that as well, and I kind of liked how it was similar to like the Psycho aesthetic. Yeah. But that also made me feel like, this is very much like Psycho. But I kept thinking like, this is very much like Psycho. Like this person going to the other person's house, being looked at from a window by an older jealous woman.
Yeah.
Being jealous of like their body and how they can do anything they want with it, and like how their jealousy drives them to murder, and kind of similar to Norman Bates and their mother personality. Kind of felt like that.
Sure.
And like and the MacGuffin of the twist in the third act being completely different from the first act. And I felt like, wow, this is very much like, it's like a different take of like the essence of Psycho, of being like a woman being jealous of another woman, and then like wanting that for themselves, or just being jealous that, or thinking that it's wrong, and like, you shouldn't do that because you're a bad word, which I can't say. And like you're like,
do you want me to say it?
You can say whore, right? Yeah, like because they say they call them a whore in the movie, and they're like and that's like the mother in Psycho, and like how they're looking down from the house above, looking down at them, and it felt very much like Psycho to me. I feel like if I rewatch it, I can find more little hints to like Psycho.
Oh, there's definitely lots of Psycho references, like especially the car in the lake and stuff like
in
that.
The car in the lake was like, wow, this is exactly like Psycho, because like they've done this before. Like this is a similar situation has happened before. So then why would they allow people to live in their house if they're going to kill them anyway? Doesn't matter.
Anyway,
but yeah, I felt like that was really cool, but I was kind of it took me out of it a bit because I was thinking of like all the psycho things, but that may just be a me problem.
Here's the thing that I have another pro, but also can be thought of as a little bit of a con as well.
What is it, Leo?
Is that I thought some of the concepts were kind of cool. Like, for example, what I got from it, I thought there was a concept of kind of like different kind of generational priorities. Where, for example, for the young generation, they're all for being a star and doing whatever and, being loose and whatever they want, while the older generation is all about kind of commitment to one another and how, when you find your love, you stay with that love and stuff like that. And I thought that was a cool maybe like comment on, generational priorities. Yeah. But one of my cons with it is that maybe it wasn't explored enough. Like I feel like this film had a lot of like themes, but they weren't explored enough for me to understand like, oh yeah, that's the theme you're talking about. Yeah, it felt like it was very sidelined and very in the background.
It felt like there was a whole bunch of themes, but as soon as the killing started happening, it kind of wasn't as talked as much because they were too busy killing.
Yeah. Do you want to move on to the cons now?
Yeah, sure. I'll do that.
Because this is leading me into the cons.
A big con for me was I felt weird about the motivation of the husband.
Sure.
Because the husband at the beginning, because the wife was jealous of them for being loose and wanting to be like them. Yeah. And she brought the main character in to drink lemonade, and they were like, "Don't tell my husband you were here." And then she immediately told her husband she was there. Later on in the movie,
or maybe later when he found out,
it was just felt like, what was the idea for these old people? What did they really want?
Well, they wanted sex mates, didn't they? They wanted to. What I got from it is that they bring people over to satisfy the sexual needs of the woman, while the old guy doesn't want to do it. The old guy doesn't want to have sex, but that's why they bring a bunch of like people to have.
No, they didn't. He didn't know that these extra people were going to come. He thought it was just going to be that one guy.
Yeah, and they thought that one guy was going to be the sex mate. But then she started getting attached to the girl. Because as you saw in the basement, there was one dude who was chained up, completely naked, and I assumed that's for, the old lady to do whatever.
I think about that.
So when that guy came over, that when the old man was talking to the guy, it was like, okay, you're the guy. All right, you're gonna be for the sex mate for my wife, because the old man doesn't want to have sex with his wife, and so when
then why does the wife keep trying to have sex with her husband if they already have a deal going?
Sorry, well, because I think she wants to be loved.
Nah,
this is what he's doing for her.
Yeah, that's true.
But she wants to be loved. Yeah, she wants her husband to love him. I know,
but then why did the husband go like, oh, she gets confused sometimes and wants help from them? It felt like. It's been a while since I watched the movie, so I can't remember exactly what it was. I wrote it down. Okay, the husband was confused and wanted to find his wife. Like, he didn't know what was happening, and then suddenly the husband and wife are working together. Like, it felt like the wife and husband were separate, and like their motivations were separate, and then and the husband felt like he didn't want what was happening to be happening. He didn't want his wife to be going out and being all confused. But then suddenly, he was on the wife's side and was like, we have to kill all these people now. Whoa. It felt like there was just a switch.
They already are doing illegal stuff and killing people and having sex with them.
I know. But then I felt like his motivation switched.
I didn't super feel that, but
why did suddenly the husband and wife working together and they started killing like it's a plan? Why lie and make it seem like you are on their side and not just kill them quickly? It just felt like there was an easier way of doing this than drawing it out. And then going like,
well, they weren't expecting
more people. I can't find my husband. Yeah, but that. What do you
mean? Don't find your husband?
I can't find my wife. I mean, the whole plot of killing all of them felt a bit like a misdirect, too much for the movie, and not as like our characters would actually do this. Because I felt like killing them.
What they do kill them. When they invite someone over, they kill them. That's their plan, to kill them all alone. So now there's multiple people. He needs to kill them all, because if they escape, of course, things will go bad for them. So it made sense to me.
Like, it felt weird how the because the husband was angry at her for being aroused at at them. Like, oh, you made her aroused, and like, oh,
When
you
did he
did
say
this.
that?
Yeah, he got mad at them for doing that.
For making her aroused.
But then wanted to continue with the plan of hers. Like, I was like, I guess their love is strong enough, and
okay. I don't.
I think I was
understand
just. I don't feel like I got the end goal of what was happening of the old people.
Sure.
It felt like the old people were just like, oh, let's just kill now. It felt like the old woman. It felt like the motivation of the old woman was to be like the younger people, but then suddenly she just murders the guy. It felt like the jump to murder was like an extra step needed to be in between.
Well, she didn't want to be the entire older people. I think she just wanted to be that one girl, and everyone else didn't mean anything to her. Like Maxine, I thought she found herself in Maxine, and everyone else is just like a threat to that. Everyone else is just, fodder. Like it. That's what I got. Like, 'cause she's okay killing everyone else because she doesn't care about them. Her eyes are now set on Maxine, and they're just people. And she already had murder tendencies because she killed the guy down in the basement. So it didn't seem like a huge change in character to me.
Was the director.
The director?
Yeah, that was him hung up, wasn't it?
No, because the guy was still on the ground. It was someone else.
Oh.
It was the old person who got missing.
What?
It was because they were talking about someone else who went missing. That was the car that was in the river. Was another dude.
Yeah, I just feel like there needed to be a bit, for me, maybe I just completely missed it, but there was just a gap between the realization of that for me.
Sure.
I didn't get it. Maybe you
That's
did.
fine.
Maybe it was just me missing it. But I just felt like I needed like a bit of like I feel like there was a step missing. It was just like, oh, they were kind of just in love and all that stuff. Blah, blah, blah. She's angry at them for being young and active. And then murder. I was like, oh. And then suddenly when I started connecting a bit of dots later on, but I feel like earlier on there wasn't enough seeds planted for that to be like...
okay, well, I felt like it was fine.
I was like, oh, this is a cool like thing happening. I felt like, oh, suddenly it's murder. Suddenly it's a horror movie.
It's okay to not understand things.
Yeah, I know. I'm not completely angry because I know I missed it. Like, I know that's probably a me problem.
That's fine. But okay, yeah, okay. Anyway, I'll move on to some of the negatives I have. Yeah. So, one major element is the film did kind of feel quite slow.
Yeah.
With nothing really happening in the first hour. But like I felt like there was like needlessly like a lot of long takes.
Yeah.
Like I don't mind long takes, but there was like a section where there was a huge field shot that just went for way too long, and they could have just kind of made it snappier.
That was a very 70s thing.
I know, but it just some shots just felt like they went like some shots had good tension connected to them, but some shots just felt a little bit too long. And with an hour of literally nothing happening, although I didn't mind it because it was like cool characters,
it was fun.
I was kind of just like, oh, because when it gets to the bit where everyone's getting killed in like the last 30 minutes, I was like, oh, this is happening too fast. Like, why? Yeah, it feels a bit.
That's the biggest issue of this movie. It felt like my pro of like, oh, I didn't know where the movie was going, is also a negative because I didn't know what was happening really. Because it was like, oh, where's this movie gonna go? 30 minutes later, where's the movie gonna go? Another 30 minutes later, what? Is it just the movie? Just watching these people make a porn film? What? And then suddenly murder. Like that felt like just a big jump to like, okay, now we're getting into it. That felt like maybe that's my biggest problem is that like the movie took a bit too long to find what it was actually doing and where the plot was. Like, and where like to find its genre, find its drive. It took a bit too long for me because I was waiting for it for so long that I kind of was just like, I was getting invested in the drama of it, but not the actual plot. I wasn't getting invested in, oh, the director was getting jealous that his girlfriend wanted to be part of the film. I'm getting invested with like the Christian girl like wanting to know more about this stuff. I'm getting invested with the producer trying to make this all work. I was getting invested in that plot. And I was just like, because nothing else was happening. So I was like, okay, this movie wants me to get invested into this, but when's the actual thing gonna happen? Like, where's the movie? Oh, is this just the movie? And then suddenly, boom, the movie happened, and then it's only half an hour later, and then all the killing, all the things happening. It felt too fast. I felt like the movie tried to trick you for too long to go like, is it gonna be this? Is it gonna be that? Is it gonna be about this? Is it gonna be about that? The movie took too long to hit its plot points. It felt like it was a plot point at the beginning, plot point when they got there, and they just continued for too long, and like too many takes of like too many times of them showing us how they filmed the porno, how they did this stuff. They just showed us too much of it, and then when they got to a point of the actual movie that's happening, they only had like half an hour left. So it just felt like they had to rush through it.
Yeah.
So, and I was already invested in these characters, so all my investment in these characters were lost because I'm not getting characters, I'm getting dead bodies that have to be killed quickly. I'm getting like, oh, this character is no longer in the movie because all their scenes have happened. Now we're just getting to the murder. Like the main porn actor, he was in the movie at the beginning, but he wasn't brought back in until his death scene.
Right.
And like same with the main actress woman, like the blonde haired one.
Sure.
She was completely left out until her death scene, or until like she was needed for the old woman. I just felt like the movie gave us characters that I was really invested in. Then as soon as the horror killing came in, it was like, oh, this is just a standard slasher now.
Okay. Yeah.
That was just my biggest issue, but I still enjoyed the slasher, still enjoyed the kills, I still enjoyed what was going on. I felt like for it to hit its stride, it took a bit too long.
Yeah. I felt like to a degree, I still didn't mind it too much because I thought it was still entertaining through and through.
Yeah.
But yeah, I felt like to a degree that maybe we were watching kind of like two separate movies. Yeah. So I felt like we were watching like one great conversational kind of horror movie and then the big slasher at the end. But no, I still thought it was okay. But yeah, it would have been nice to, because the thing is, if I'm attached to all these characters now, because you spent a whole hour just about the characters, and now I'm attached to them, it kind of feels a bit like hollow and feel kind of like, oh, when they're getting killed at the end straight away. Like I feel like, oh, I'm so attached to these characters. Yeah. Because I've spent like so much time with them that now they're being killed, it kind of makes you go like, oh, okay, they're being just killed, and they kind of
like,
feel like I want more of the character.
But that's how slashers are.
Yeah, but normally like in slashes, like they get killed throughout the movie, so you're not super attached to them. But because we have a whole hour of them talking, we understand the characters, we know with the characters.
Maybe that's maybe the movie wanted us to get attached and wanted to kill them. Yeah, but at the same time,
when they're dead, it makes me feel like, oh, okay, but I want still more of them. It's like kind of like,
maybe that's what the movie was going for.
Yeah, true. But on the same time, I just kind of was like, oh, but okay. Another negative that I have, and when I mean negatives, it's I don't mean like full on like, oh, this is super bad, but is the whole theme around religion, I don't think was fully integrated for me. Like I felt like there maybe was too many themes being pushed in this film that none of them really felt like super connected to it. Yeah. Like there was this whole thing about, the person, talking on the TV about religion and about how like, oh, bad stuff's going on, our youth needs to be fixed, I know what it's like to be with the devil. None of that religion theme, although it was great throughout, it didn't feel connected to the events of what's happening in the story. Yeah. Like it felt like it was just there in the background.
It felt like it was just there to be a twist at the end. To be it felt like that was only there to add a little twist at like, oh, it's actually the daughter is the person that he's talking about. But even then, that
twist didn't give me any reaction.
Yeah, same. I was just like, it wasn't a good twist. I'm saying that was the only reason why it was there.
Yeah, definitely. But I was just kind of like, oh. Because I felt like it was trying to have a message, but maybe I just didn't receive it well. Yeah. Like I just didn't feel like...
Maybe because we're not American?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know what it is. The elderly couple didn't seem Christian to me, so it didn't seem like it was connected. Like if they were Christian and they were also killing people, I'm like, oh, okay, that's kind of connected. But it kind of was just talking about Christianity, but then the old people kind of their own thing, so it didn't feel connected to the events of the story.
Yeah, they were watching the pastor. I don't know how to...
The pastor.
But like, it didn't feel like them themselves were hardcore Christians. It just felt like they were old people.
They were just old people and maybe generational values. Like I know it connected to the kind of the theme of generation values, different generational values. But even then, I don't know if that was fully explored enough. I didn't hate it, but on the same time, I just felt like, oh, they could have just maybe, hell, if you just made the old people Christian, then I would be like, okay, that makes sense. Yeah. But it just kind of felt like it was there. Do you have anything else you want to say before I move on to one of mine?
I think I've gone through the things I've written down.
Sure, I'll say some stuff and you can probably add on to it. Yeah. Another thing I felt kind of not icky about, but I just felt like, oh, is that I felt like the ending was a bit abrupt to me. Like it was funny that the old woman shot the gun and flew back, but that felt like it wasn't earned, that ending. Yeah. It just felt like she shot and then hurt herself. Yeah. And while it's kind of funny, like, oh shit, she's old, she's disabled now. But
it just felt like
that
should have come after like she got defeated, like a Scream, like they always come back for one last scare. Should have been like she came back for one last scare and then shoots it and then dies.
Yeah, that would have been funny if
funny.
she flew backwards after being attacked.
Yeah.
But she just flew backwards and then she was attacked.
Yeah,
like
that was how she ended.
They are like, because she flew backwards, that's why Maxine could kill her.
Yeah.
But I was just kind of like, oh.
Yeah.
It felt a bit abrupt and didn't
it
feel
felt like, these old people are fragile. We could have taken them.
Yeah, but the entire time they were completely fine. Like
it was just like these.
I just felt like
strong old people.
I just felt like that was such an abrupt ending, and it wasn't like an earned victory. It was just a victory.
Yeah.
Maybe that's a statement of some sort, but I just didn't feel super connected to that. But that's okay. That's fine.
It's fine.
Another thing is that some of the comedy didn't work for me. What I mean by that is that when the person, like, when it cuts to the very end, when it's back to the police officers and they say line like
goddamn
then when they go like,
movie.
what do you think is on this camera? I think some goddamn horror movie. And then it cuts to the title card. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Because I didn't feel like that was this is just a big nitpick.
Yeah.
But I just didn't feel like, oh, that was like a cool
good ending
line. Like I don't know. It just didn't. Because if they were filming it, like if they were filming people getting killed and then it says goddamn horror movie, I was like, oh yeah. But
well, I guess he's assuming it's a horror movie.
I know. That's kind of the funny with it. But I just I know that was kind of the joke. But even then I was just like, it didn't.
Yeah,
feel
I don't really
funny.
care for it. Yeah.
It just felt like, but it doesn't matter. That's
Yeah.
okay. It's
also,
a nitpick. That was a big nitpick.
Was the last song used in the movie a 70s movie? A 70s song?
I think so.
Okay.
Do you mean when Maxine's in the car driving away?
Sound 70s.
I'm pretty sure it was.
Okay.
Trying to look through the rest of my nitpicks.
See if I can find the soundtrack.
Yeah, I think that's it for me. I'm just trying to search. Yeah, and one of them was just everything feels like it happened too fast at the end, so I didn't feel the emotion with the characters. Like, I didn't feel emotion when the characters died. Like, I felt like, everything was happening so fast that they were just being killed, like, straight away. It felt like a different kind of horror movie at the end. That I didn't feel any emotion when they died. So I was just kind of like, But yeah, that's really it. That's all my kind of negatives.
I feel like the way they died was the disappointing part of it. It was like we got invested in these characters, and if they died in a really like whoa way, I feel like that would have been better than them. Oh, he got shot.
Sure, I mean, I thought some deaths were like,
some
whoa,
were really
but
cool.
I still didn't feel anything.
But like, I feel like
the girl being eaten by an alligator,
that was
or
really,
like
that was cool, and the shotgun to the face, and how she was like, ugh. Yeah, that was cool. But I feel like the what is it called? The veteran. I feel like he was a really good character. I really liked him, and him just getting killed and getting shot. It's like, oh,
sure.
That felt abrupt.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's all my cons. What do you have
I think
anything?
that's all from me.
Do you wanna? Yeah. So, but anyway, I still loved it. Still thought it was great.
Really liked it.
And it still is one of those smarter kind of slasher movies, and it definitely feels A24. Okay. So, quick reminder on our ratings: we have at the very bottom, shit show, crap movie.
Mm-hmm.
Don't wanna watch that again. It's just super bad. Boss Snow Get Out the Door is above it, and that just means that we watched it. It was boring. It's still a movie, I guess.
I guess it's a movie.
It's not something I want to watch again. Like, it's like, okay, Boss Snow Get Out the Door. Then I think we have Disappointment.
Book a appointment to disappointment.
Yeah. So, but yeah, book
an appointment for disappointment.
Right, book appointment for disappointment. That's basically a film that we went in with high hopes or something like that, and we just came out going,
disappointed.
Oh, okay. Like, it still can be a decent made film. It can still kind of work for some people, but it's just a film that we were like, oh, this could have been good, but it just didn't turn out good.
Yeah.
Then we have Hey, It's Fun, which is a rating where we watch the film and we're like, yeah, I had a fun time. It may have lots of problems with it. It may have some things good with it, but we just came out going, you know what, it's fun. It's probably not that good of a movie, but you know what, it was just fun. Yeah. Fantastically Splendid is the one above that, and that basically means that film that was just really well made, a great film, one that we don't have to necessarily love so much, but yeah, we think it was good. We think it was
a
great.
solid
movie, definitely worth your watch, and it's a smarter one than other ones out there. And at the very at the very top we have a classic or / masterpiece, and this is a film that we think, oh my god, is amazing. It may have a tiny bit of a flaw, but it's so good that it doesn't matter, and you gotta watch it as soon as possible. For this film, it's hard. I actually don't know what to give it.
I don't know.
I'm stuck between two.
I'm stuck between two.
And I don't know. Like, I don't know. Okay.
Hey,
so
it's fun and a half.
Hey, it's fun and a half.
Maybe. I feel like it's better than a Hey, it's fun.
Yeah, I feel like it deserves to be a fantastically. Like, I feel like if I watched it again, it would be a fantastically splendid.
But as it going out from the first time watching it,
I don't know actually.
maybe and a half. Because I gave Scream 5 a Hey, it's fun and a half.
Yeah, I still think this is probably better than Scream, to be honest with you.
Well, as a movie, yeah, but I enjoy Scream 5 because it's Scream. But
okay, Louis, do you want to lock that in? Hey, it's fun and a half.
Hey, it's fun and a third.
And that's less than a half.
2/3.
That's okay.
That's more than a half.
So hey, it's fun and 2/3, and for me, I honestly don't know. What? Why are you gonna kill me?
I'll kill you. Give it a good score.
I'm see. I'm
stuck make our listeners like us, Leo.
I'm stuck between a low, fantastically splendid, and a high. Hey, it's fun.
Make our listeners like us, Leo.
I don't know because I
give it a masterpiece.
I give it a masterpiece. I give movies too high of a score sometimes.
Yeah.
Like I gave Us like masterpiece, and it's probably not a masterpiece.
Yeah.
It's definitely not a masterpiece. I mean, I'm sure if I maybe watch it again, it would be a masterpiece. Oh fuck. Okay, I'm gonna give it a low, fantastically splendid.
Okay.
I think because I think if I watch it again, I'm gonna give it that.
I feel
score.
like it was good enough.
Yeah, it's good.
It's good enough.
Still good. So fantastically splendid. Go and watch it. Go and watch it.
And if you haven't watched it,
why are you listening?
Yeah.
Run to the Run to your cinema. What are you doing? Get up. If you're studying, get up.
It's rated R.
Freddie, we're talking to you. Get up.
Get up.
Get up. This is for Freddie. No,
there's a message for you.
No.
If your name is Freddie out there, get up your ass.
Anyway, go watch it. What the fuck? Go and watch it.
Go watch it. I'm gonna kill you.
No, okay, turn.
I'm gonna be an old woman and kill you.
No, but
after I
definitely
lie in bed with you.
Go and watch it. It's probably too late right now because we're doing this way after the fact.
Nah, it's fine.
But it's probably still in cinemas, and if it's gonna come to VOD, so go and watch it. It's worth your time. Get some mates. Watch it with some mates. Watch it with some people.
Watch it with some people, and make sure everyone's hands are on.
Yeah,
Make sure everyone's hands are.
Yeah,
where they need
no one
to
wear
be.
blankets because if you're wearing a blanket, you're sketchy. That's all I'm saying.
Make sure the popcorn isn't over the groin area.
Yeah, okay. This is getting too gross. Anyway, go and watch it. It's worth your time. And before we leave, I have a little trivia question. Little trivia question for you. I do have to answer last week's trivia question. And I'm going to get it up for you all right now. So last week's trivia question was relating to
Dawn of the Dead.
We reviewed Dawn of the Dead.
One of my new favorite horror movies now.
Yeah, it was definitely. And the question I gave you is, which of these is not a George A. Romero sequel in the Dawn of the Dead franchise? Yeah. So is it A, Land of the Dead, B, Diary of the Dead, C, Planet of the Dead, or D, Survival of the Dead? Louis, what did you think?
Oh, I forgot. I came up with the one, didn't I?
Well, no. Actually, no. Come on. What do you think is not?
But I think I know.
Go. What? Because I'm about to reveal it anyway. What is your guess?
Oh, shit. What were they again? Planet of the Dead.
Planet of the Dead. You don't think Planet of the Dead is a movie?
Right.
You're correct. Planet of the Dead is not a movie. It's
not a movie. It doesn't exist. Wait, does it exist? I'm gonna look it up.
It probably does exist, but it's not a George A. Romero's. In those line of the zombie movies. So that's that one. But now.
Dead. Wait, before we go to the other thing.
Do you want to do this off the podcast? Or do you want to do this on the podcast?
I'm going to look up Planet of the Dead.
This is already getting too long, I feel.
Oh! It's a Doctor Who episode.
Yes,
that's
it is.
What
it is a Doctor Who episode.
Okay, there we go.
It's a classic. Can I guess the Doctor?
Yeah.
Is it John Pertwee, the Doctor?
No.
Who is it?
David Tennant.
David Tennant?
It's his Easter special.
Oh.
Remember, and it's also this guy from Get Out.
I'm pretty sure it's...
The guy from Get Out, remember?
Okay. I thought it was a John Pertwee one. Anyway.
Like, the bus in the sand planet?
Well, we'll talk about this after the podcast.
Wait.
Basically, the new question, if you can get it, is which of these movies which of these movies does not have a Ty West directing credit? So this X, the one that we just talked about, is a Ty West horror movie. So out of these 4 horror movies, which one does not have a Ty West directing credit? So is it A, You're Next, B, VHS, C, The House of the Devil, or D, The ABCs of Death? Have fun. We'll give you the answer next episode.
I don't know.
On the Horror Herald.
Play outro, mate.
Run.